Good morning. We finished, we left off, we were talking about Joseph last week. And it was at the point where he was describing the dream to Pharaoh and what is to come in the near future. And when I was focusing, I was trying to focus on how God will speak to his people through dreams, but because we've been so far removed from our original knowledge, that dreams don't really have any real significance to a people who are not taught the importance of dreams. When he mentioned that in the dream that Pharaoh had of the corn, there were seven juicy, plump, fat pieces of corn versus 7 lean pieces of corn. There were 7 fat cattle versus 7 lean cattle. And the lean ate up the fat, or the healthier ears of corn, the healthier cattle. When you embrace dreams and you go to God for understanding, God will open up your understanding, because he says, no good thing will I hold from you. And it's a good thing to want understanding, because it says, in all thy getting, get understanding. So how is it that the creator of the universe is speaking to people still through dreams, and you don't have an understanding of the dream? It's because you're not asking, you're not inquiring. Because if you were, and you were diligent about it, he would give you the understanding. Either someone would come in your path who would have an understanding, or he would give you the understanding directly. Either way, if someone gives you an understanding, that understanding has to confirm with what's in your spirit. And that's how you know.
So could you say this, that, well, a question, how does dreams come? Because what if you're a person that finds yourself not remembering your dreams? Because I know you do dream every night, while you're asleep. Now, if you don't remember your dreams, how do you come to focus on those dreams?
A lot of dreams, like the scriptures, a lot of dreams come from a multitude of busyness. You can think about something during the course of the day, and you'll find yourself dreaming about it.
Okay.
So from many thoughts comes a dream as well.
So basically what you consume on your daily activity, that's where your dreams are derived from.
A lot of them are, but not all of them.
Right.
Then there are those that he gives that leave a lasting effect on you, that you wake up and there's no forgetting, because they're like burned in when he gives them to you. They're really overpowering,
sometimes prophetic too.
Very, very much so. So that there is no forgetting it, because it's just that burned in.
Yeah.
So there is no forgetting. That's how you really, a lot of times, you know the difference between a dream that comes from a multitude of busyness and one that's from him. The other thing is, again, like I said, twofold. You'll find a dream given with twofold meaning, or twofold examples. Like the corn, he said there were 7 ears of corn that were fat, 7 ears of corn that were lean. The lean corn ate up the fat corn. Well, we know corn doesn't eat corn.
Right.
So you see the lean years eating up the plenteous years. You see? But as you become familiar with symbolism, these things become easier to see, and you become an aid to other people that have dreams, and you'll be used to share with them understanding.
Okay.
Just like the cows. Cows don't eat cows, even though now they seem to be putting all kinds of junk into the feed of the livestock. so that they're maybe feeding them parts of other animals because they don't want to waste any of the steroids that they're feeding the animals. So when those animals die, they grind them up and mix them in there too. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But the lean cows ate the fat cows, so that was 7 years of lean that would overtake the plenteous years. In other words, so you see that the plenteous years were first. The first thing you saw was the healthy pieces of corn, and the lean pieces of corn. Then we saw the healthy cows, then the lean cows. So cows are usually called counted. You know, houses as cows a yearling.
Okay.
You know, or it's 2 years old. You know, they'll you look at cattle and like any other animal, the yearlings that's you know, that's a 2-year-old. When we're out hunting, you know, we look at does and say he's about 2 years old. You know, but we refer to it by time. You know, by age.
Right. Okay.
Same thing with corn. It's seasonal. So, you know, you put a seed in the ground, the corn grows into the season. You know, that's it until the next season. Seasonal. So that gives an indication of these are years. These are seasons. These are. But you see, he gave them 2 examples. Plenteous and lean. Both 7 pieces of corn, 7 cattle. Plenteous and lean. The lean eating up the plenteous. But it's by the illumination, it is by the revelation of the Spirit to show a man such things, and the understanding is given in his spirit, so that he feels and understands what the Creator is telling him.
And not only that, going back to dreams, when you don't remember, or when you're an individual who do not remember your dreams, when you awake and throughout that particular day, that dream will needle you. And it will bring you to a point where you start inquiring of the Lord. What were you trying to say? Bring it back to my memories. And then he'll bring it back to your mind, what he was trying to say in that dream.
Okay.
Young man told me his dream once. I'm sorry, he didn't tell me his dream. I had the dream. It was concerning a man, and it was a twofold dream. And the dream showed that basically you needed to look at maybe your relationship differently. I'm not going to go into details or anything, but you need to look at the relationship differently. And I didn't share the dream with him right away. You sit on it a while, and you ask the Lord, when is a good time, or when shall I share this with this person? Because you don't want to share it prematurely. And this is what Joseph did with his brothers. He shared a dream with them prematurely, and aggravated them and got them to the place where they basically wanted to kill him. Or they wound up putting him in a hole and then selling him to the Midianites. But I asked, okay, when shall I share this dream with this young man? And when the time came, of course, God can, the Spirit keeps needling you and needling. Okay, this thing keeps needling me, and I got to get it off of me. That's when it's time to, to basically share it, because it's riding you. Basically, you can feel it riding you. And then, it's time to get it. And when I called him and told him what I experienced, he said, that's right. He said, Chris, that's, he said, it really is accurate. It really is accurate. And it's a relief to you as a person as well, because you want to know that what you're sharing with a person, your flesh is not involved in it. So that you're giving them something that is going to help them.
Yeah.
That's going to make a difference in their life. And that's what dreams are all about. It should be for help, should be for uplifting. Sometimes it's judgment.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we do like to aid the person with the understanding of their dream.
Gotcha.
I woke up this morning and I'm always listening to hear what needs or what I should come across with. And I had nothing until I got out of bed. No thought, really. Down through the week, I think of numerous things, but nothing that impacted me like what I heard when I got out of bed or I was awakening. I heard my son in the bathroom. He was looking in the mirror saying, he said at one time, he said, I'm not an idiot. And I heard that in the bedroom, and I said, well, who told you you're an idiot? And he was afraid to say. I said, did you get it from television? Were you mimicking something from some TV program or the Aaron, or did somebody tell you that? He said, no. I said, well, who told you? I said, were you looking in the mirror? He said, yeah. I said, did you hear it in your head? He said, yeah. So I hugged him and I began to explain to him. I said, now you are becoming aware of spirits. You can hear them, they talk to you. And once you become aware of them, you've got to know how to do spiritual warfare. And I said, you look in that mirror. Look right in your eyes in that mirror. And tell yourself, I'm blessed. I'm a son of the Most High. There's no good thing that God will hold from me if I'm obedient. And go to reaffirming the things that God has already done in your life, the good things that He's already done. This is why I explained to him, and I asked him, did you understand what I'm saying? And he said, yes. And I said, so now you understand that voice that tells you to go pick up mommy's cell phone and download a bunch of things. Or do this, or do that. Now you understand that's the same voice that called you an idiot. You see? Now you know. That's the same voice that you heard that called you an idiot, that tells you to do these other things. He's the same one. And that spirit, when you hear his voice, make sure you don't pay attention to it. Make sure you shun that spirit and go to professing the righteous things that the Creator would have you to do. Now, some people might say, oh, that's kind of crazy sounding to be in front of a mirror and say to yourself things. But guess what? You see God doing it. That sounds funny, doesn't it? We see God doing it, or God did it. Do you know what that is?
Not in particular, but the scripture that comes to mind is the simple fact that we are made in His own image. So if He made us in His own image, He had to be standing before something to see Himself as He believed He is, and He created us.
Well, what about this scripture in Genesis, the first chapter? We talked about He looked, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moves upon the face of the waters. You see what I'm saying? And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. What about that? It says he moved upon the face of the water. What happens if you go down to the water and you look into the water? What do you see?
Your reflection of yourself.
Okay. Is that really any different than looking in a mirror?
Not at all.
And it's no different than him saying, let there be light, when he moved on the face of waters, seeing his reflection, saying, let there be light.
So he saw light.
So he saw light. But he created something. This is what I'm trying to get to. In other words, him looking in the waters is like him looking in a mirror, seeing himself and speaking things into existence. And this is what you can do when you stand in front of a mirror. You look into your eyes, you speak things into existence. Speak those things that are not as though they are. And you're just like God, moving over the waters and speaking into existence. But he sees his reflection and he speaks things into existence. So there's nothing crazy about looking at yourself in a mirror and speaking to yourself, speaking those things that are not as though they are. Because you can definitely hear the voices of darkness talking to you in the bathroom in front of a mirror. You can hear them trying to put you down. You can hear the voices. Now if you swallow that and eat that up, then the rest of your day will reflect the fact that you did actually receive that in your spirit. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does. I just witnessed it this morning.
Okay. And
I witnessed it just before I walked in this building.
did you didn't look at it that way though, did you?
No, not exactly. Again, I'm still dealing with my flesh instead of, just looking at it as, okay, I've done what I could, and the ending result, did not turn into my favor, but it still doesn't condemn me.
What do you think about that? The fact that you can speak things into existence and they really don't exist at the time. But it's just like that spirit spoke to your son saying, you're an idiot. And if he received that, he would have a low self-esteem. Not all young people have somebody in the next room listening. Not all young people, have someone over them who is keen to spiritual things, who's listening down the hall, who's tuning in. So how many years of damage will they go through because that priest is not in the home? How long will they suffer because nobody's in their home teaching? And these are, like I said, a lot of times these people don't really belong to anybody's fellowship. And so they're not getting it either way.
And normally when you're not part of the fold, the enemy don't attack you because you're not doing any damage. It's when you become part of the fold and start walking that path and have a clear-cut path in front of you that's of God. That's when the enemy is going to begin to attack you because he don't want you to become what God has created.
Well,
Yeah, that makes sense because you're already doing what the enemy wants you to do when you're not.
Or you might not be doing what the enemy wants you to do. You might have a good heart, but when you walk in with God, you will soon find out that there's no demilitarized zone.
Okay, yeah.
And if you're in the middle, goes back to the scripture, he don't want you hot, nor, he prefer that you're hot or cold.
Right.
He doesn't want you in the middle.
Right.
It's like in order to walk with him, you got to take a stand. You can't say, no, I don't want any of this. And I'm just going to stand in the middle. By default, you on the enemy side.
Right.
Whether you doing his work or not.
Right.
By the simple fact that you're not doing God's work.
Right.
You on his side.
Okay.
do you feel that because you're not doing anything that you're not attacked, or do you feel that really you're being attacked? You just don't know you're being attacked. Your eyes become open when you receive light. You were being attacked before, you just didn't know that you're under attack.
Okay, so but are you just going through the normal life process? Or, I mean, it seems like even when your eyes are open, you understand that the degree of your attacks are greater.
Because now you're aware, and they see that you're aware. And when they see that you're aware, the degree of the attack is greater. But doesn't mean that you weren't attacked prior to. You just didn't know what it was, where it was coming from. You attributed to, oh, I need to go see a doctor. You see, oh, I need some medicine. Oh, I need to take some drugs. Oh, I need a drink or something. You didn't realize where the attack was coming from. When you're being attacked, just that the awareness of spiritual things allows you to see. You see, this is what the prophet said with his servant Gehazi. He told him, he said, let him see that those that are with us are greater than those that are against us. And then his servant saw the host of angels surrounding the enemy that was surrounding them. They were already there. The servant didn't see it. The prophet did. You see? Like, ignorance is no excuse for the law. You can be ignorant of the law. And when someone stops you and says, do you know you did such and such or whatever, they still give you a ticket, right?
No, they're not going to have any mercy on you. Oh, you didn't know, huh?
Right. So you see, it's still working against you, right? That's my example. You can be ignorant of laws, but they still work against you, regardless of your ignorance. And this is the same thing you're saying when you say, you know that you don't think you're under attack when you're in darkness. Yeah, you're under attack. You just don't know it.
So he just happily stealing from you. You don't even realize you're being robbed.
And we have dreams all the time that reflect it. And that goes back to our dreams again. We have dreams all the time that reflect someone stealing from you. You see? Someone's coming through your back door. You left your back door open. You left your front door open. You left your back window open. You left your front window open. And those things are very significant in meaning. a lot of times when the back door is open or the back window is open means that you did something but really unaware of what you did to cause that door to be open. The front door, the front window, a lot of times means that you did something but you were aware of what you did. You see? The front door is where the welcome mat normally is.
Right.
Okay? You put the welcome mat at the front door. You don't put the welcome mat at the back door. The back door is normally where the thief comes. A person is welcome, he comes to the front. An intruder usually will try to penetrate your home through the back. But you can do things to leave the back door open or back window open and be unaware. He's still coming in to steal. You see? When Satan came to actually deal with Adam, he didn't come to Adam, he came to Eve, the back door. Okay? The goal was to get at Adam. Why? Because Adam was given the commandment.
True.
But what did Satan do? Satan went to the back door. He didn't go to the front door where the commandment was given. He went to the back door. The commandment was given to Adam.
Use the way that
I'll get into the house of Adam. I'll gain entry into the strong man's house by the back door. And who was the back door? Eve was, in this example. You getting something out of that?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you? Either way. Well, do you think Joseph saw what was happening to him?
No. Joseph probably was so excited that God was dealing with him, period, that he didn't understand the fact that you should share everything that God is giving you when he's giving it to you.
Yeah.
So he was just excited that he was being dealt with, and God saw favor in him. So therefore, I'm going to share it. I'm going to talk about it because this is a privilege.
Yeah.
You know, honor. But soon enough, he realized that those that are surrounding you are not necessarily for you.
Right.
And might pick up or look at what God is doing in your life as you bragging, as you boasting, as from the standpoint you're trying to take God's glory. So I guess with everything you should be tempered.
Yeah.
And the scripture that's coming to mind is what's done in secret. Soon enough, all of that was going to be manifest anyway. So if God was dealing with him secretly, he should have allowed God to deal with him secretly, because his brother in the world was going to see soon enough what was being done.
But you never learn that lesson until you go through.
True.
How do you know that you should be silent and not tell and not share?
Well, hopefully you have a mentor around you or someone you're paying attention.
And what if you don't?
Well, if you really look around you, you normally do have someone else's life around you, and that's something that you have to learn as well. But
Oh, you had something, John? You must.
It's beautiful how all this just comes in the circle, and then it's like a light just comes on. You see it circling, and then it hits right back and bing.
And epiphany.
Well, I guess that's the idea of midrash. Huh?
Yeah.
That's the idea of sharing. And the more people you can get, you make sure you invite people to share, because they have ideas, they have life experiences that help and help others. The people that are actually listening to these sections actually can receive something, because they're saying, oh, I thought the same thing, or I had the same question was going through my mind, or the same thought, or that very thing happened to me. And if you're not saying anything, of course, if you're not midrashing, then of course they can receive the benefit of your thoughts. If your thoughts are just lodged in your head, of course they can't receive the benefit of your thoughts. You don't know who you're affecting. You don't know what this goes to hear, who's sitting down listening to. So you need to be very aware of that, because someone needs to hear what you're saying, because they may be thinking exactly what you're thinking. And they are thinking that no one else is talking about these subjects, or no one's sharing these things.
Damaging things is having an idea and thinking that you're the only one. You're feeling alone.
Right.
And you have to let it out.
That's how the enemy attacks. Oh, you're alone. You're the only one like this. I think you should kill yourself. You see?
Yeah.
That's how he talks to a lot of these teenagers. You know, because they're young.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody talking to them on this level. They think they're the only one, because they're teenagers and haven't experienced much. So they think they're the only ones. This is only, I'm the weird, I'm the one that blah 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 blah. Young teenage suicide is way up there, and it's sad that a young person would think that their life is over when it's just beginning.
Absolutely.
You know, how can you think it's over when you haven't experienced anything? Like a person asked me for a job one time, and he had been to a lot of different contractors, and they kept telling him that you don't have any experience, you don't have any experience, you don't have any experience. And he comes to me and he says, well, how can I get experience if no one will give me any? And at the time, the way he said it and how he looked, I just had to laugh. I didn't mean to laugh in his face, but I thought that was so funny at the time. I wound up hiring him to give him some experience, and so he worked out for a little while, and that was it. But I mean, it was one of those moments that you just had to look, you had to be truthful with yourself and say, yeah, the man is right. How do you get experience if nobody will give you any? Everybody's asking for experience, but somebody's got to take a chance on you. Someone has to say, okay, look, I'll give you a shot, I'll get your feet wet. Right? We can't all have people who graduate from college, come out with their degrees and blah 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 blah.
Even so, even if you do come out of college,
you still don't have any experience.
Exactly.
Right. So that's still, but still, that's more experience as a person that.
At least you have the book knowledge.
Yeah.
Right.
And not to say that that person that comes in is not sharp enough to start learning quickly, but it's just that you have to take them through the fundamentals.
Right.
That the person that went through school has received, at least on that level. But I'll tell you, there's a lot to be said for hunger. There's a young man that I have right now that he's hungry, and he not only says that he's hungry, he shows me that he's hungry. He does show up. He's ready. He has his tools. He has a good attitude. I don't hear, I just hear him eager to do, and I tell him to do something, he goes and does it without, a bunch of why should I, or how come I got to,
Yeah.
He doesn't do that. So he shows me that he's hungry, and he asks questions. A hungry person is always going to ask questions. What is this? Why does it do this? What is, So he's showing me that he's hungry and he's retaining the information. So that's positive. You know, it's positive for the mentor or the teacher to see that the person is hungry, that they do retain the information, and they ask questions. So you have someone like that in your life, you know, take the time to nurture them if they're hungry. There's a difference of casting pearls amongst the swine versus someone who's willing to sit at your feet and learn. And we'll stop it on that.